Yes, sir. Affirmative.
New construction options. Building. Construction complete. New construction options. Building. Construction complete. Building. Construction complete. New construction options. Building.
Reporting.
Training. Unit
Agreed.
ready. Training.
Yes, sir.
Training.
Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Ready and waiting. Affirmative. Reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Very well.
Training. Unit
At once.
ready. Training.
Very well. Reporting.
Unit
Agreed.
ready.
Yes, sir. Agreed. Acknowledged. At once. Awaiting orders. Agreed. Reporting. Agreed. Yes, sir. At once. Very well.
Construction
Very
complete.
well.
New construction options.
Yes,
Building.
sir. Acknowledged.
Training. Unit ready.
Acknowledged. Very well.
Training.
Awaiting
At
orders.
once. Unit ready. Unit
Yes, sir.
ready.
Affirmative.
Training. Unit
Ready and
ready.
affirmative.
Training. Unit lost. Unit ready.
Yes, sir. At
Training.
once. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit
Yes,
ready.
sir. Very well.
Unit
Ready and
ready.
waiting. Agreed.
Training.
Acknowledged.
Unit
Agreed.
ready. Unit
Yes, sir.
ready.
Affirmative. Reporting. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Construction complete. New construction options. Building. Building. Unit lost.
Yes, sir. At once.
Construction complete.
Ready and waiting. At once. Affirmative.
Building.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir. At once.
Construction complete. Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir.
Unit ready. Building. Insufficient funds.
Comrade, acknowledged. Vehicle reporting. Acknowledged. Awaiting orders. Reporting. At once. Ready and waiting. Awaiting orders. Ready and waiting. Yes, sir. At once. Reporting. Awaiting orders. Agreed. Reporting. Agreed. Awaiting orders. Acknowledged. Waiting order. Affirmative. Waiting order.
Unit ready. Building.
Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Construction
Affirmative.
complete.
Vehicle reporting.
Building. Our base is under attack.
Yes, sir. Reporting. Acknowledged.
On hold. Cancel.
Vehicle acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Construction complete. Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Construction complete. Building. Building. Construction complete. Building. Unit ready. Building. Construction complete. Building.
Vehicle acknowledged. Comrade, acknowledged. Comrade, affirmative.
Construction complete. Unit ready. Building. Building. Our base is under attack. Preparing. Unit ready. Building. Insufficient funds. Unit lost. Repairing. Construction complete. Unit ready. Building.
Awaiting orders. Acknowledged. Comrade, affirmative. Reporting. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Construction complete. Building.
Waiting affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Construction complete.
Affirmative. Reporting. Very well.
Building. Construction complete. Building. Building. Repairing. Unit ready. Building. Construction complete. Building. Unit ready. Building. Construction complete.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Building. Unit ready. Building. Construction complete. Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir. At once. Agreed. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Our base is under attack.
Yes, sir. Of course.
Prepare. Construction complete. Building. Our base is
Yes,
under
sir.
attack.
Acknowledged.
Building. Construction complete. Unit ready. Building. Building. Unit ready. Building. Unit ready.
Yes, sir.
Building.
Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building. Construction complete. Unit ready. Building. Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit
Awaiting
ready.
orders.
Building.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir.
Insufficient
Affirmative.
funds.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Waiting order. Sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Comrade. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building. Unit lost.
Yes, sir.
Construction
Acknowledged.
complete.
Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Affirmative.
Unit
Awaiting
ready.
order. Acknowledged.
Building.
Report read.
Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Our base is under attack. Building. Unit lost.
Yes, sir. Agreed.
Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Waiting order. Affirmative. Awaiting orders.
Unit ready. Building.
Acknowledged.
Construction complete. Unit ready. Building.
Vehicle report. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Insufficient.
Acknowledged. 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 Yes,
Unit
sir.
lost.
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building. Unit lost. Construction complete. Unit lost. New construction options. Building. Unit ready. Building. Construction complete. Unit ready. Building. Building. Unit
Comrade.
ready. Building.
Reporting. Acknowledged.
Our base is under attack.
Comrade, affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building. Unit ready. Building. Insufficient funds.
Comrade, acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building. Construction complete. Unit ready. Building.
Yes, affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building. Building.
Awaiting orders. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Awaiting orders. Affirmative. Vehicle reporting. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building.
Reporting.
Unit ready. Building.
Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building. Construction complete. New construction options. Insufficient funds. On hold. Cancelled. Building. Unit ready. Building.
Comrade. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Acknowledged. Vehicle report. Acknowledged. Vehicle report.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready.
Vehicle report.
Building.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Comrade. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Reporting. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Unit lost.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Affirmative.
Building.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit
Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Unit
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit ready. Building.
Waiting order. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Unit ready. Building. Base is under attack. Repairing. Unit ready. Building. Unit ready. Building.
Reporting. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Comrade, acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Reporting. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building. Unit ready.
Yes, sir.
Building.
Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Vehicle
Building.
reporting. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.